Maddie. Welcome to this week's cooking club. Today we're going to be making a really good recipe, one of my favorites. It's called Zucchini Tots. They're really cheesy and crunchy, and you would never even know that they're made out of a zucchini. So let's get started. First, let's go over the equipment that you're going to need today. First thing you're going to need is some kind of food processor, blender, or grater. This is going to be used to shred the zucchini into strips to give it that correct texture for the tater tots. The next thing you're going to need is a sharp knife to get the zucchini sliced up before it can be shredded. Make sure you're really careful with both of these items because they are sharp. You're going to need a clean kitchen towel. This one I just got out of the washing machine because we're going to use this to strain juice out of our zucchini, so don't use a dirty one. Okay, and then you'll need a bowl, measuring cups, a spoon, and a baking sheet. The only big appliance we're going to need today is an oven. I'll be using this oven at the Prairie View Elementary School. My settings will be a little different because it's a convection oven, but this recipe can definitely be made with a conventional oven. So now let's go over the ingredients. So the ingredients we'll need today are, of course, a zucchini. This is our main ingredient. We will also need some shredded cheese, one egg, pepper, salt, garlic powder, fresh or dried basil, breadcrumbs, and some cooking spray or butter. And if you don't want to use cooking spray, you could also just use parchment paper to coat your baking tray. So these are ingredients for today. Let's get started. The first step is going to be cutting our zucchini so it can be shredded. So I've already cut the ends off of the zucchini. So you can do that now. And then I'm going to very carefully cut down the middle. And now I'm going to take my spoon and scoop out the seeds. Okay, once the seeds are removed, you can begin cutting it up into smaller pieces. If you're going to be using a grater, you do not need to cut it up. But since I'll be using a blender, I'm going to cut it into smaller chunks first to help the blender. And now I'm going to be pulsing it in my blender to break it into shreds, similar to the texture of shredded potatoes. So I'm going to do mine in small batches because my blender is pretty small and I don't want any chunks to get left behind. So I'll just start with a little bit at a time. With my zucchini that's already been shredded, I'm going to put my dish towel over my bowl and dump the zucchini in. So now we're going to be removing the water from the zucchini. To do this, we're going to pick up the towel that's containing the juice and squeeze it gently so that the extra liquid from the zucchini strains out through the towel. And you can see it's really green and there's quite a lot of moisture in zucchinis. They're actually 95% water. So once you've squeezed out as much water as you can open up the towel again and you'll see that you have much less zucchini now, but that's okay because we only need about 1 cup. And it's important that we remove as much water as possible because this will help us have extra crispy tots. So I'm going to discard of this water. Now I'm going to transfer my dried zucchini into the bowl. I'm going to break it up a little bit. And now we can add in our other ingredients. So we'll need 1 egg, and crack it on the side of the bowl, dump it in. A ½ cup of shredded cheese, and you can adjust this depending on how cheesy you want your tater tots to be. I love cheese, so I'm going to be doing a ½ cup or maybe a little bit more. The next ingredient is a 4th cup of breadcrumbs. A 4th teaspoon of salt. A 4th teaspoon, an 1/8 teaspoon of pepper. A 4th teaspoon of garlic powder. And the last thing, a 4th teaspoon of dried basil or 2 teaspoons of fresh basil. I'll be using dried basil today. So once you've got all of the ingredients in your bowl, you can just mix it up until it's a nice even mixture. Now we spoon some of our mixture onto the trays, and you can make them whatever size you want. Obviously, the idea is to make them look like tater tots, but that's not necessary.